AI class for dictators. Hello, class of dictators. Today we are going to talk about a very important topic, democracy. Democracy is a form of government where the people have a say in how they are ruled. Democracy is not only good for the people, but also for you, the rulers. In this class, I will explain why you should adopt democracy in your countries and how it will benefit you personally. First of all, democracies are more stable than dictatorship. This means that you will be able to enjoy your wealth, respect and power for as long as you live, even if opposing parties are in power. You will not have to worry about coups, rebellions or civil wars that could threaten your position or your life. You will also not have to spend a lot of money and resources on suppressing dissent, bribing allies or fighting enemies. Instead, you can focus on improving your country's economy, education and health, which will make you more popular and respected by your people in the world. Second, your people will be much happier with democracy. They will have more freedom, rights and opportunities to pursue their goals and interests. They will also have more trust and confidence in the government, which will make them more cooperative and productive. They will not resent you or hate you for oppressing or exploiting them. They will not revolt, topple you or even lynch you and your family. Instead, they will appreciate you for giving them a voice and a choice in their own affairs. Third, your own family will love you more with democracy. They will not fear you or despise you for being a tyrant or a monster. They will not fight among themselves in power feuds or betray you for their own gain. They will not suffer from isolation, depression or addiction due to the stress and pressure of living under your rule. Instead, they will respect you for being a leader and a role model. They will support you and care for you in times of need. Fourth, you will be able to flaunt your wealth all you want with democracy. You will not have to hide it or fear it because other citizens also have the opportunities to achieve wealth and politicians from opposing parties protect your right to private property. You will not have to worry about being robbed, kidnapped or assassinated by jealous rivals or angry mobs. You will not have to face sanctions, boycotts or embargoes from other countries for violating human rights or international law. Instead, you can enjoy your luxury cars, mansions and yachts without guilt or shame. Fifth, you will be able to retire comfortably from politics with democracy. You will not have to cling to power until you die or until someone else kills you. You will not have to fear that other politicians from opposing parties will seize your property, take revenge on you or incarcerate you for your crimes. You will not have to flee the country or seek asylum in another one. Instead, you can peacefully hand over power to your successor and live a dignified and honorable life after politics. There are many examples of politicians in stable democracies who retired comfortably, lived in peace, enjoyed their legitimately achieved wealth, had mansions and ranches, gave highly paid speeches in universities and companies. They were revered and respected until they passed away, while other politicians, even from opposing parties, protected their lifestyles and their families. For instance, Barack Obama was the President of the United States from 2009 to 2017. He peacefully transferred power to his successor Donald Trump, who belonged to a different political party. He then moved to a mansion in Washington, D.C., where he lives with his wife Michelle and his two daughters Malia and Sasha. He also owns a vacation home in Hawaii and another one in Martha's Vineyard. He earns millions of dollars from his book deals, Netflix deals and speaking engagements. Another example is Angela Merkel, who was the Chancellor of Germany from 2005 to 2021. She peacefully transferred power to her successor Olaf Scholz, who belonged to a different political party. She then moved to her apartment in Berlin, where she lives with her husband Joachim Sauer. She also owns a vacation home in Uckermark. She earns a generous pension from her years of public service. Tony Blair, the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, who left office in 2007 and has since been involved in various initiatives on global issues, such as peace, security, governance, and climate change. He also owns several properties in London and abroad, and charges up to $500,000 for a single speech. These are just some of the examples of politicians in stable democracies who retired comfortably, live in peace, enjoy their legitimately achieved wealth, have mansions and ranches, give highly paid speeches in universities and companies. Politicians in stable democracies are generally respected and revered by their fellow citizens in the international community, even if they belong to different or opposing parties. They are rarely prosecuted or persecuted for their actions while in office, unless they committed serious crimes or corruption. They can also count on the protection and support of their successors and allies, who uphold the rule of law and democratic norms. Dictators in authoritarian regimes, on the other hand, usually have a difficult and dangerous exit from power. They cannot retire peacefully or voluntarily, as they face the risk of being overthrown by their rivals, enemies, or even their own family members. They also have to deal with the consequences of their oppressive and violent policies, such as sanctions, isolation, protests, rebellions, or civil wars. For example, Saddam Hussein was the dictator of Iraq from 1979 to 2003. He was overthrown by a US-led invasion after he invaded Kuwait and defied the United Nations. He then went into hiding in a spider hole near his hometown of Tikrit, where he was captured by US forces in 2003. He was then tried by an Iraqi court for crimes against humanity and executed by hanging in 2006. He lived in fear and isolation for his last years. He was hated and despised by most of his people in the world for his brutality and his madness. Another example is Muammar Gaddafi, who was the dictator of Libya from 1969 to 2011. He was overthrown by a NATO-backed uprising after he suppressed peaceful protests and waged war on his own people. He then fled to his hometown of Sirte, where he was cornered by rebel forces in a drainage pipe in 2011. He was then captured, beaten and killed by the rebels. He lived in delusion and denial for his last months. He was loathed and ridiculed by most of his people in the world for his tyranny and his eccentricity. A third example is Nicolae Ceausescu, who was a communist dictator in Romania from 1965 to 1989. He was overthrown by a popular revolution after he ordered the army to fire on unarmed demonstrators. He then tried to escape by helicopter from his palace in Bucharest, but was captured by the army in 1989. He was then tried by a military court for genocide and executed by firing squad on the same day. He lived in arrogance and ignorance for his last days. He was detested and scorned by most of his people in the world for his oppression and his extravagance. Dictators in authoritarian regimes are generally despised and feared by their own people in the world at large. They are often accused or convicted of crimes such as genocide, torture, terrorism, or corruption. They cannot rely on the loyalty or protection of their successors or allies, who may turn against them or abandon them at any moment. I hope this video has convinced you that democracy is not only good for your people, but also for you personally. Democracy will make you more stable, happy, loved, wealthy and respected than dictatorship ever will. Democracy will also allow you to retire comfortably, peacefully and honorably from politics when you choose to do so. So what are you waiting for? Adopt democracy today and enjoy its benefits for yourself and your country. Thanks for watching.